This program is made possible with support from the Maine Community Foundation, working with donors and other partners to improve the quality of life for all Maine people.
I think I'll just pass the mic around and you can just introduce yourself and say how old you are and how many years you've been doing contra dancing. Does that sound fine? Okay, here we go.
Hi, I'm Liam McConnell. I've been contra dancing for probably 3 years, I think. And 13. I'm 13 years old.
I'm Patrick McConnell, and I've been contra dancing for 3 years, and I'm 13 too.
I'm Daniel Snyder, and I'm 14 years old, and I'd say I've been contra dancing for about 5 years.
I'm May Young. I've been contra dancing maybe since I was like 9, but I've been coming for longer. Stop. My mother says 3. And I'm 15.
I'm Babette Cohen-Salal. I started contra dancing when I moved to Maine. I'm not actually sure when that was. It was like 2.5 years ago, maybe.
Great. Yeah. You can just, I should take it. Right. So thank you all for being willing to come and share. And you're all familiar faces to me when I call at the dance or when I'm going up and down the line, so it's nice to have your perspectives. One of the first questions that we were wondering, you heard a lot of people telling stories in the film, like about, why they're dancing or why other people were dancing. And I know that everybody has a different initial experience, so I'm kind of curious and would love to have people share if you remember what it is that first brought you to contra dancing. Like, what was the story? Was it like a precipitating event? Was it a particular individual person? Or was it just you were walking down the street and heard the music and that was it? You knew you had to do it. So does anybody have anything that they'd like to start with on that? Like how you ended up going to the contra dancing in the first place? What brought you to it?
My older brothers, I think, introduced me to contra dancing, and they always said, Daniel, wow, you should definitely come to this. And I was reluctant for a bit, and then I went one time and I saw everybody was dancing with everybody, and I was like, wow, that is just so cool. And I did it, and I just couldn't stop after the first time.
I had been dancing for lots of years. I started when I was 8, doing all sorts of dances, like tap, jazz, ballet, hip hop, but I'd never done any sort of like dancing with somebody else. There's a word for that. I don't remember it at the moment. So when I moved to Maine, and I didn't really have any friends, but I was still hanging out with a group of homeschoolers, and they all said, come to the contra dance. That was like the one thing that I remember from when I moved to Maine. They were, come to the contra dance. I was like, what's that? They actually did not describe it at all. They literally just said, it's a contra dance, come. So I came, and it was like the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. Like, I don't know, the first thing that I noticed was that, like, I guess not everybody was, like, a dancer. But at the same time, everybody was a dancer. And, like, that idea had never crossed my mind, that everyone can be a dancer even if they're not a dancer, if that makes any sense. So for me, that was like, yeah.
Another question that came up, and I loved it because the movie had a few great quotes in it. That woman who was 101 years old in the movie and was saying, just describing her experiences dancing, like wearing her shoes out at a dance. She said, it went right along with the rest of your life. And that was one of the questions that I had written down, was just wondering how contra dancing fits into your social life, or your life in general. Not just your social life, but your life period.
So my mother and aunts always danced, ever since I was born at least. And so it didn't, I don't know. I used to get like taken there and I would sit under the tables because I was too little to dance. But it didn't, it's never felt like a big extra thing that I have to fit in. It's just something that like happens every so often. And then it doesn't for a while, and then it does again. And it just flows very nicely.
I only dance once a month at the Belfast dances, but I always look forward to the next one. It's a chance to catch up with friends and dance with everybody there. And even if I don't spend like a lot of my time contra dancing, I feel like it plays a big role in my life.
I think it's something to look forward to. I know there's certain people I'll see there that I don't get to see other times. And I don't know, I just like it and it's fun.
Yeah, I really don't do much other than work in school outside of the contra dance, so it's like the high point for me of every month. I'm always looking forward. I'm counting down the days until the contra dance. But, you know, it's also like has helped me outside of the dance specifically, because if I meet anybody, you know, at work or at school, that, you know, like somebody will make a comment about contra dance, I'll be like, you contra dance too, and then, you know, new friend. So for me, that's how it works. It just is everything. Like everything relates back to contra dance for me.
What is it that you like? Like, what do you value about contra dancing? You know, are there specific things that you really love about it, or is it, are there things that make you feel like, oh, it was totally worth coming, I'm glad I came? What's important to you? What do you really love about it, or get out of it, or appreciate? What do you value about contra dancing? Yeah? Thanks.
I always look forward to it because everybody's so friendly there, and they're really kind to you, and you always feel welcome, no matter like who you are. And whenever you leave at the end, you always feel so happy that you went, and I think that's a good experience.
I really enjoy watching new people start dancing, and like how they mentioned in the movie that like when new people start dancing, you just see it in their eyes, like spark, the light, I don't know. I really enjoy seeing that. And I also really enjoy dancing with people who can dance much better than I can. I just love going to dances and like seeing the difference in level of dancing, and the fact that it all works together is incredible to me. That's one of the things that I really love seeing at the contra dances.
I really like dancing with everybody because it's just so cool, because not very often can you find a place where there are people from ages 1 to, I don't know, mid-70s, maybe older. It's just really cool how the contra dance brings everybody together and forms a community around that.
We definitely in our society kind of have like this idea that adults are like, I don't know better, you know, they've lived longer, have had more experiences, and that's true, but I've also had experiences in my life, and younger people have also had different experiences in their lives, and sometimes it's really hard to have that, like, for the two different generations to understand the other one. And contra dancing is, for me, is like, it's really helpful to see the other side. I have taught people much older than me how to dance contra dances, and vice versa. And it's really helpful for me to see that, you know, like, I don't know, it's like humbling a little bit that you can watch like an 8-year-old teach a 30-year-old how to contra dance.
I like it because it's fun when you dance with a little kid, and it's like so much different than when you dance with like somebody who's like 50. And just the difference.
I think there are certain, like, social skills that you learn from being around older people, if that makes sense. I don't really know how to explain it, but I think that was valuable.
I like listening to the music. I play an instrument myself, and just listening to the music and knowing that I can play some of these songs is really cool, I think.
Totally. Some of the rest of you play as well, is that right? Yeah.
I agree with Liam. It's great. Sorry. It's great to see somebody who is a fantastic musician playing a song that maybe you learned the other day or that you've known for a few years. I think that's really cool.
Just a little thought experiment. It's not going to happen, but I don't think it's going to happen. We're not all bailing out, right? The board's going to stick around. Yes, we're all on it. But what if the Belfast Flying Shoes dance stopped happening? What kind of impact would that have, if any, on your life?
I don't know. Like I said earlier, I like, seeing people, and I feel like I wouldn't see people as much. And, you get to know people and see people that you don't see other than at the contra dance.
I would be really sad for a while because having no contra dance would make my months less fun, which would basically just make my life a lot less fun because I always look forward to seeing everybody at the contra dance. And like Liam said, you get to see people that you wouldn't see otherwise, and I really value that. But I don't know, I would try to get one started again.
Yeah. I think I'd be more motivated to go to ones further away. The only one I ever go to is North Whitefield sometimes, and then Belfast almost always. And then eventually start one once I had more friends.
Devastated was the first word that popped into my head. But I think that might be a bit of an over-exaggeration. It'd be pretty close. I don't know what I would do. I would definitely try and start another one closer. But I would probably try and go to other ones. I don't think I could just not contra dance. No.
If you were trying to get somebody else to go, and you weren't like Babette's acquaintances who just said you should go and didn't tell anything about it, what would you say to somebody who you were trying to help come to a contra dance? How would you explain it, or what would you tell them what would you say to help convince somebody else to come to a contra dance?
I would probably say, you have to come to this. It's so much fun. This person goes there. This person goes there. And if they didn't know anybody there, I would be like, I have to introduce you to everybody there. You'll get to dance with this person and this person. I think telling them about how much fun seeing everybody is, that would be a big thing for me.
Oh yeah, I think I'd say that it was really neat and it wouldn't hurt them to come. I would pay for their first ticket. I would.
I would probably let them know that you don't have to be a very good dancer because everybody else will help you out. Yeah, I don't know. I'd just say give it a try, and I'd probably describe the contra dance a bit more. Well, I'd probably ask them if they wanted me to show them moves, and then I'd like teach them how to dance a bit, because the people that I have invited already seem to be much more inclined to go if they already know some of the dance movements.
I guess I have just one last question, which is, you guys have plenty of other things that you could do. And you've kind of talked about it some. Everybody's mentioned a few things, but are there other reasons that keep you coming back month after month? Or especially because many of you go and your parents are there too, and that's often an unusual thing in our society, to have people in their teens willing to be in the same room, let alone the same set, maybe even have them as a partner, somebody else in their family. And so there is a little, as they said in the movie, there's a certain counterculture element. But are there any things that you think, well, that's what keeps me coming back, walking into the room and seeing a particular person or a particular figure? Like, does that make you really excited?
I would probably go back each time, because even if I didn't have a ton of fun the last time, I always like to hear the different bands, because we managed to get really, really fantastic bands to play with great musicians in them, and I always look forward to hearing what the next band has to offer, and I'm never disappointed by them. And as soon as I walk in, I just feel warmth, and it's just, I'm so glad I came. That's always my reaction.
I really I always come back, because a month is a really long time, and I only go to the Belfast Contra Dances because I really don't have time to go to the other ones. But it's like, I always go back because I feel like if I missed one, I would have all of this energy in me, because I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. I pent up energy for of anticipation, and just for the last month of all these things that have happened. And in Contra Dancing, I can just let it all out and dance with people that I've never danced with before, dance with people that I have. And the other thing too is you never really know what to expect at the Contra Dance. Each one is so different. There are the Contra Dances where the room is so crowded that you can barely take a step sideways. And then there are the ones right after a snowstorm where there's nobody there. And you get all the space in the world, and you're just dancing all around, messing up all the time. Or doing it perfectly. It depends on the dance, and you never really know what is going to happen.
Oh, I was just going to say that I think that even if I didn't know anybody, I would keep coming back, because the dances have a really unique atmosphere. It's open. It doesn't feel private. It feels like a community space, which it is. It's usually a town hall, but still. And everybody seems to be there to enjoy themselves, even if they're not having the best day. If that makes sense. Yeah.
You guys all mentioned that the people were really important, and we've heard that the music is quite important. And I didn't know if the moving and dancing itself, is that part of it, or is it more just seeing the people, or is there something about actually moving around that is a plus as well? Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Some dances in the summer, I've been running around all day and stuff, and I'm tired, and I feel like it's still fun. And then in the winter, after a snowstorm, been inside all day. It's really nice to get my energy out. It's really fun.
Some dances I'm not as active, and then sometimes I see people doing new stuff, and I try it, and it's really fun, and then I just move around a lot more, and yeah.
I do like moving around and the physical exercise, but it also, I guess this is sort of connected to what you were saying at the beginning about like the sense of something that's been going on for a long time, but I like the sense that the dance was meant for the music. They're not two separate things, and I enjoy that a lot, if that is part of this question.
The dancing is definitely one of the main reasons why I go back. That's because the dancing helps me let out all that energy. I think it's also, yeah, for me specifically, I'm very prone to injury. And on a, like, this is really bad, but like I'm almost always injured in some way or another. Sometimes, yeah, but it's kind of like one of the reasons why I stopped dancing intensively before I moved to Maine. And the contra dances are like, they can be really intense sometimes, but I've never I think there was like one dance where like my injury really, I couldn't dance, but it was always a dance form that I was able to dance in whether or not I was injured.
Thank you.
I think it's great opportunity when I go to dances to dance with all different ages. But the other thing I find really interesting is that the roles between males and females is not so clear cut. And Chrissy, I take her classes and she teaches us that, I can ask someone else to dance, and if I don't want to twirl, I can put my hand down, things like that. But also you see a few men with dresses on, with beards, and little 3-year-old friend comes in his dress, sometimes, if he feels like it. And I was wondering if, I know when I was your age, not only myself, but everyone I know would have been very uncomfortable with that. I was wondering how you all feel about that.
I find it really cool when I go there and there are men with beards wearing dresses, and I just think it's really nice because it doesn't matter what you identify as, and you can dance either role. And if you're dancing with somebody, they're like, do you want to be the gent or the lady? And it doesn't matter because you're gonna have fun anyways, and nobody's gonna judge you for what you choose.
I think for me, growing up, it was, I don't know, it wasn't even a thing to gender and all of those, controversies. It was never a thing to be worried about. And it was, really only recently that, gender equality was kind of, introduced to me, that we didn't already have it, I don't know. For me, it was growing up most of my life, it was just normal that men could wear skirts and women could wear pants, and, women could do just the same as men and men can do just the same as women. And what I'm glad about is that people feel like they can dress the way they like.
I'm interested in your connection to dancing and whether it goes beyond or could go beyond just the Belfast dance. If you found yourself living for a while someplace else, would you feel comfortable seeking out dance even if there's nobody there that you know?
I would go, because if I was there for a bit, it doesn't matter if I don't know anybody, because I would make it my duty to get to know people, because if I'm the new person there, I want to be contra dancing because I'm there. And for me, an important part about contra dancing is getting to know the people that you're dancing with. So I would go and just get to know people.
Right. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable going, but I would go. Because it would feel weird to not be dancing for long, and so I think I'd go even if I didn't dance, just to be there.
I definitely have looked for other places to dance. I missed 6 dances in a row once.
Why was that?
I was hiking, long distance hiking from Georgia all the way back to Maine. And contra dances I was really sad to miss them. So I heard a couple times about contra dancing or contra dances along the way, usually not very close to where I was hiking, and like very often tried to hitchhike to get to the contra dances, or find shuttles. It never worked out because I guess nobody wants to pick up a 16-year-old girl to to bring her to a contra dance. But yeah, I would love to contra dance other places. I tried.
So does anybody else have anything they want to add? Oh, great. Here.
Sometimes as a dancer, you have a moment of connection with somebody on the floor, sometimes someone that you know, or sometimes someone that you don't. That's really meaningful, like maybe someone helps you off the floor when you're injured, or you run into someone that you haven't seen for a long time, or you're kind of dreading dancing with someone who you think is kind of sketchy, and then it turns out they're awesome. Do you have a story of like a personal encounter on the floor that was like meaningful or memorable to you?
Well, I guess the first one would be with my dad. I was very reluctant to dance with my dad, as we mentioned before. But, you know, as like, he was new to contra dancing, he doesn't come every time, and I just wanted to spend some time with my dad. So when he asked me to dance, I said, sure, let's do it. And it was not what I expected. I don't know, like we just love to dance together. We used to have dance parties at my house, just me and him. And we'd turn on music and jam out, and we haven't done that in years, or hadn't done that in years until the contra dance. And I thought, you know, like dancing with everybody, I do the moves right, and sometimes I add in flourishes. But when I dance with my dad, we'd never get out any of the moves right. We always, you know, when we're spinning, instead of actually spinning, we kind of just like hip and skip and hop and jump and twirl around. But it's nice because we both know the timing of the dance well enough that we can kind of just get away with doing anything, and we just keep following with the dance. And like that with like in that moment, it was like a new, deeper level of understanding of my dad, and I love contra dancing with my dad now.
I have some pretty fond memories of dancing with my brothers. We, even if I'm like super tired, I'll be like, okay, I guess I'll dance with you. We get out and we start dancing, and then almost immediately we start doing crazy moves, and we're flopping all over the place, and maybe getting it right 1 or 2 times out of like 10. And we're maybe being slightly obnoxious and like taking up way too much space, but I end up out of breath, but I'm always smiling at the end, and it's a very special experience for me to just be really goofy for a little while.
You guys have been really great. Thank you for contributing. Thanks for being willing to be on the spot. Thank you to everybody else who came and attended the movie and participated in that way, and great questions. Thanks for weighing in ways that you did. And have a great rest of your night. See you on the dance floor.
This program is made possible with support from the Maine Community Foundation, working with donors and other partners to improve the quality of life for all Maine people.